So,
good day, hey? Good day, and happy new Star Trek.
happy new Star
Happy
Trek.
new
Hey,
Star-
not over the board.
Not over the board.
Look, okay, I know we're on the internet.
We are.
We were on the internet before, but this is a podcast kind of setup.
It's
That's
new.
why we look weird. Yeah.
Here we are. We're coming to you on video from the You Had Me at Beer studio, recording in vertical video because we have no moral compass at all.
Get over it.
I'm over it.
Okay, cool.
It's all good. So we're reviewing Star Trek Picard episode.
We're not reviewing. We're nerding out.
We're nerding out. We are absolutely nerding out in the best way possible. Yeah.
Okay, so first off, this is not your grandfather's Picard. Well, in a way, yes, he is.
He could be. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, at this point in the video, spoiler alert. I mean, just
honestly,
go-
if you've
go
made
watch
you've
it.
made it through the intro by now, you've already had
you're committed.
like
Just
yeah.
deal with
Come
it.
on. Yeah.
Okay,
we're
so-
not apologizing anymore. You've
No.
seen this.
Yeah.
If you haven't, get yourself some Crave TV subscription. Just do it.
Well, Crave in Canada. Well, this is good. This is YouTube and go anywhere. So
This is
Amazon Prime outside the U.S. and then CBS All Access.
By the way, it's not on Canadian Amazon Prime.
No, it's on Crave.
But you said outside the U.S. Amazon
Well,
Prime.
outside
Outside the continent of North America is what you're saying?
deal with it.
Fine.
Anyway, so
We don't matter in Canada.
okay. So anyway, this is a short show, Mike. Come
Mm.
on. Okay. So
Super.
anyway,
Yeah.
All right. So talking about first of all, very different Picard. We're talking about a Picard who's older. He's clearly jaded, but not jaded, I guess. But it's
No,
more
no,
like,
jaded. Totally jaded. He
Yeah.
is downright cynical. He feels betrayed by Starfleet with the way that the show is about whether some lives are worth more than others. And this is where we're getting back to what Trek was supposed to be back in the 80s and the 90s.
the social commentary.
The social commentary. It's not
Well, even
just
back
an
in the
action
60s,
flick.
right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, you talk I think it's supposed to be a space western, but the social commentary sort of crept in from there. You have the
It
guy
did.
with the one half of his face black versus that one half white, then one half white versus one half black, or like Star Trek had really pushed the social boundaries, and now they're
They did.
getting more into modern things. So this idea of xenophobia, gotcha media,
Yeah.
talking about you see a little bit of consumer culture.
You do.
One
do.
of the cool things I really like about this episode too is that this idea that it seems very civilian focused, right?
It is. And as such, you're really getting this idea of governed by fear. And that's really what the show is about. Because you've got these people, the idea, like, synthetics have betrayed the human race. We don't even know why.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter. Something bad happened. And now all of these types of people are no good.
Yeah, and it's obviously, I mean, this is definitely a stand-in for, I mean, Star Trek has always kind of used synthetic life. So you're looking at the measure of a man. You're also looking at, photons be free from Voyager. You're talking
Yeah.
about like using that, do these classes of people have rights? What makes a person a person?
Right.
But I think this is kind of the first time where we can point, yeah, they're talking about this particular group of people. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you take in a little bit of xenophobia. So, I mean, definite commentary about the U.S. Take a little xenophobia of Mexico or people coming across the Mexican border.
Yeah.
Add in the idea of Muslims, Muslim ban. I mean, you've totally got direct in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're
I mean,
presenting
obviously,
them.
I don't think any Muslims were being built in a lab somewhere. But
No, not
I
at
could
all.
be wrong.
But
I mean,
actually-
they get through some crazy stuff in Saudi Arabia.
But there is some interesting commentary here about the fact that, like, in the show, you've got these people, we don't know who they are yet because we've only seen episode 1. You got these people who are basically trying to hunt down the synthetics now. And
Well, we don't necessarily know that. That's their only job, or that's exactly what they're doing.
Right, but you get this very strong impression that Starfleet has given into fear toward these people, and they've presented these people as if they are a threat, and that's why all of the civilians hate them. When
Yeah.
it's- and
Well, you're looking at like Star Trek as the used to be Star Trek. The Federation used to be a stand-in for the United States of America.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're still trying to go for.
Right,
So we've
but-
gone from the Cold War shining city on the hill to something more kind of profound, a little more subtle. So it's still there. It's just
yeah,
we're starting to see sort of the uglier side of it.
Much
and I think
uglier.
that's kind of what they're starting to scratch surface of, and I really hope they keep pushing this theme.
I do as well. One of the things that I found interesting about it was that in presenting these people, these synthetics, as a threat and making everyone afraid of them, but then you also portray that really, if you treat them wrong, they are a threat. Because you've got this synthetic
But it becomes
who
a self-
kicks ass.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if we're carrying
Well,
the
we call it
social
synthetic,
commentary,
but at the same time, it's like
Yeah.
what makes a person a person. I mean, she's flesh and blood.
she's a flesh and blood android. It's a
Right.
very interesting concept, and it does create within the audience that yeah, these people are different from us. Is that okay? And that's why
We're getting into Blade Runner territory here.
Well, and she does kick ass if you treat her wrong. Like, you activate her programming or whatever, and she just absolutely destroys all the threats that are there. All that makes a lot of sense to me, but if this is a social commentary show, right? What are we saying about these others that the United States, that America is so threatened by? Are we portraying, like, are we talking about jihadists? Are we talking about Muslims? Are we talking about Mexicans? What are we talking about here? Who's the like, Starfleet being a stand-in for the American government? Who are the synthetics a stand-in for?
Hold on a sec.
A potential
Sorry,
fire in the Hugh Had Me at Beer Studios.
We don't have a replicator, so my loving wife is making fajitas. That's right. Star Trek nerds can have wives.
That's right.
And attractive ones.
That yes. Am I allowed to say yes? Am I allowed to agree?
You better. Your wife may watch this.
It's one of the things where it's one of the things where, like, if I agree with you, then you might be like, "Why are you checking on my wife?" If I don't agree with you, you'd be like, "What? You don't think she's pretty?" I mean, this isn't one of those winnable scenarios for me.
Well,
this is my Kobayashi Maru.
I don't believe in a no-win situation.
No, I'm going to modify the program,
the parameters.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I really hope they continue. Sorry, we were talking about the civilian angle before.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the technological angle too. So obviously we're kind of continuing in the 24th century, but we're definitely seeing that
we're in the age of handheld smartphones.
Yeah, that's so you see her with the communication devices. First thing, because in Star Trek it was all voice activated.
Yeah.
Now we're finally seeing like screens. So the technology is sort of starting to get a little more informed what we're used to.
Yeah.
And it'd be weird if she just had like
a little badge,
or like a little cell phone.
Yeah,
or something.
audio only.
Yeah.
Come on, it's the age of FaceTime. We got this now.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, I mean, everyone holds their phones like this now in frickin' Walmart. It's like, screw off. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So we're looking at this. So we're looking at from the civilian side, and Chateau Picard's back. That's kind of cool.
It is. Apparently, the wine exists in real life, and
exists in real life.
This is something that we're going to have to at some point, like, review.
Send us a bottle.
Yeah, somebody, right?
Somebody.
It'd be great. It'd be fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
So let's talk about that ending, the reveal of the Borg cube. There shouldn't be any surprise that the Borg.
It was in the previews, so in that
Yeah.
sense, it was already a little bit spoiled. I think it's cool that the Romulans, I guess, live on one or work on one. They turned
well, it's
into
not
some
just
kind of a
Romulans.
base.
You see more. So I thought it was just humans, but so this is my second time watching this episode, and I noticed that in the background, it's not just Darja's sister, but there's also one or two more other humans I saw because you look at the years,
Right? Yeah.
So it seems to be like there's humans working there too. So and it didn't look like just a bunch of military. I mean, obviously you have military craft coming in and out, but you didn't see just military working there. So it'd be interested to see. No one looked like they were forced into labor or anything either.
Right.
So
no, it seemed like it was some kind of a base of operations, if you will.
Yeah,
some
yeah.
kind, almost a
reclamation site.
Yeah, that's what they call it, reclamation site.
What does
which
that mean?
I don't know,
Are
but
they
it sounds like
assimilating people? We know there's some that kind of experimentation going on.
Yeah, and I mean, we know from the previews that Hugh shows up as well. So there's some kind of
So-
mass liberation from the collective.
So here's my theory on this.
All right.
Because the Romulans are so scattered to the wind, they're probably trying to get. Maybe there's a bunch of Romulans on the cube. They're trying to de-assimilate. But if there are that many, Borg kicking around the cube, there's no way you'd be able to set up a base of operations.
Yeah, I feel like a big part of me is also just from the base concept here. We're trying to work what happened in the Kelvin timeline into the main timeline here, because of course the Romulan star has gone supernova.
Yeah,
which I'm fine with. Well, hang on. The reason why the star went supernova is because Kelvin said so. That's why that happened in the Prime Universe. But think about this:
John Calvin,
the Kelvin, the Kelvin universe.
I know.
Yeah. The reason why that happened is because he said so, and then I started thinking to myself,
well, so what though?
How do you not see that coming? Like, how do you blow Romulus apart? And all this 24th century technology, and not one person was monitoring the surface of the sun, being like, "Hey, like at this point, you can predict when a star's going supernova." Accurate to within 100
and this idea that
million
all the
years.
Romulans were dead, I mean, that doesn't make sense. I mean, come on. Even the Federation has humans spread out everywhere. They may be greatly diminished, but I mean, they're still going to be there somewhere. And you can't tell me they only had bases only where the star exploded.
Exactly.
So you're going to have remnants of the Romulan Empire. You're going to have remnants of the Tal Shiar. You're going to have all. So I think we're going to see a lot of intrigue going forward, especially around the elements of just the Romulan civilians, which, by the way, we get to see some. Well, we did see civilians, Romulan civilians before in TNG, but this is the first time we're kind of seeing them in nice sweaters, just acting like
as Picard's butler
As Picard's butler
and his
housekeeper.
nurse. That's more or less what they were, right? Yeah.
Okay, we're getting to time here.
are.
So predictions.
Predictions. I think that this is going to be about Starfleet hunting down and killing off synthetics. Probably because of some corrupt admiral somewhere, or maybe the organization as a whole has become the bad guy. I feel like that's where we're going, and that makes sense because if Star Trek is political commentary, then we're talking about the American government and how
Yeah.
they have, since 9/11, really become a fearful organization that has run and governed by fear. That hyper level of control, hyper level of surveillance, Big Brother's watching. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. That whole philosophy is being challenged, I hope, by this show.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that we're going to see a lot of stories of Picard. I think this is going to turn to a big redemption story. I mean, so we're going to see like we're going to see the typical trope of the Federation being the good light, et cetera, et cetera. But what I think is going to happen is you're going to see a Picard trying to lead the charge into trying to almost redeem the Federation, trying to save it.
Make Starfleet great again. Make the hats. Make Starfleet great again.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We'll watch the next episode here. So this is normally when I say subscribe on our platforms, but
We don't have one yet.
Smash that like button,
Yeah.
subscribe, and
Yep.
share.
In the
What are the
doobly-doo.
kids? Down
It's
here.
called the doobly-doo.
Oh, the doobly-doo. Yeah,
It's called the doobly-doo.
Hit
At least
the
it used to be.
doobly-doo.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the description is in the doobly-doo.
okay.
The subscribe button is down there. The like button is down
okay.
there. But the links
So where does
other stuff that we put out there is going to be in the doobly-doo.
So when does PewDiePie play Fortnite? I'm new to this platform.
He took a break from YouTube.
Oh, okay.
There's a vacuum,
Anyway,
a power
see you.
vacuum in the platform. We're going to take control.
Great.
Have a nice day, everyone.
Yeah.